Hi there, I'm Scott, and this is GreatScott Knitting, a vlog podcast thingy, and also happy Passover 2022, Chag Pesach Sameach, the last day of Passover. Okay, I gotta be technical here. It's already after sundown, and so Passover's over, but hey, this is my final installment of the Passover thing, as well as just a podcast. Hi. Welcome. If you are new to this channel, thanks for joining, and I hope you enjoy what you find here. And for those of you who are returning, thanks for coming back. Hi, big hugs. So it was day 7 of the Omer and day 8 of Passover. So yeah, lots of cool stuff going on. So let me just kind of wrap up old business, which would be the whole Passover thing. Throughout the Passover holiday, and if you haven't been following, you can go back and catch all the Passover episodes. But been basically talking about the process or my ideas around moving from slavery, because Passover is about the redemption of the Jewish people from slavery into freedom. And so every year we celebrate that event in our history, as well as sort of metaphorically reenact that story. We retell that story, and we contemplate the meaning of that story throughout this holiday. And so that the act of moving from slavery to freedom, from dependence to independence, is one that I've kind of been talking about what that means and what that might look like. And in that, I've talked about the power of making your own choices and taking responsibility for your own choices, and how your choices can lead you to wherever you are today. And that in order, when we take control over that, when we focus on the things we can do, not the things we can't do, it leads us into being more responsible for ourselves. It also leads us to the ability to have a vision for our life, to really in everything start with its purpose. What's the purpose of the day? What is my purpose for a meeting? What is my purpose for going to the store? Having an intention that you set for every activity that you engage in, including your entire life. What is your intention for your life? What is your vision for how you want to be remembered? And then from that, we go into having the integrity to execute on that intention, to execute on that vision, to just not think about it, but to actually do it, to make our lives that which we want. And that takes us from out of slavery into freedom. But freedom is more than just being independent. We live in a world with other people, and it's hard to maintain that freedom unless we work well with each other. And we work well with each other by having an attitude of mutual abundance, of mutual benefit, and always going for that which is best for each other as well as for ourselves. And then from there we go into thinking about how do we understand each other, or how do we seek out understanding each other in a more realistic way. And we can really do that by empathizing, by listening to understand instead of just to respond, and doing that by being able to reflect on when someone's telling us something, reflect how important that is to them. Being able to understand how important it is to them and share that we understand that. And then that can lead us to the idea of creative cooperation. That when we have a abundant attitude, when we seek to understand another person from their perspective, as well as to be understood from our own, then we can seek that creative cooperation because we can value the differences around us. We can not just value them, but seek out people of different opinions and different thoughts and come up with better solutions to the challenges we face than we could if we were alone. That it's not just my way or your way, but it's our way, a better way. And all of those keep us in a state of mutual freedom, of freedom with each other, of interdependence. Not slavery to each other, but a way of relying on each other, that we lift each other up in a different way. Now, in order to do any of this, we have to make sure we have a focus on ourselves. I know it sounds selfish, but really what this means is we have to have the attention to renewing ourselves, to keeping ourselves healthy, to keeping ourselves mentally agile, smart, if you will, by keeping ourselves centered and by keeping ourselves emotionally bolstered. I really look at it in a kind of like as basically renewal. How do we have a cadence of renewal? This idea of a cadence of renewal is being able to renew ourselves in body, the physical, the heart, our emotional and social side, our mind, our mental capabilities, and our spirit, that spiritual center that we have. And that renewal kind of looks like this. For the body, the way that we renew ourselves is through exercise, nutrition, getting good and adequate rest, and managing our stress. If we can't take care of our bodies, if we allow our bodies to become sick, diseased, and run down, then we can't do things for other people. We can't be there when we're needed. It's hard to be a good parent. It's hard to be a good friend, a good spouse, a good son or daughter. It's hard to be a good manager or a worker if we aren't taking care of ourselves adequately in those areas. I know we are busy people. I get that. But we can't be busy if we let ourselves get run down. So make sure you're thinking about, how do I keep myself physically renewed on a regular basis? And that means like every week, maybe even every day. We need to renew ourselves in the heart by building high trust relationships. And how do you build high trust relationships? Well, you do things like keep your word. Don't talk about people behind their backs. Do nice things for each other. Know what's important to another person and focus on making sure that you attend to those things that are important to them. Spend time with people. Seek first to understand them before you try to be understood. And again, value the differences that they have. Not just tolerate them, but actually enjoy the fact that they have different viewpoints and difference of opinion. We need to renew ourselves in our mind by having a regular pattern of reading, writing, learning, and studying. Now, this one gets to be a little tough because you're like, I left that stuff behind in school. when I was in high school or when I was in college. But I got to tell you, if you left exercise and good nutrition behind back then too, we might be looking a little flabby. And so if we left behind reading, writing, learning, and studying, then our minds might be a little flabby as well. You know what? I think it's time that we maybe jumped back on the mental treadmill a little bit. Because they say if we don't, the older we get, the more we lose. So, you know, renew yourself regularly there as well. And then there's our spiritual side. Our desire to be of service to other people. Redefining and looking at our values and what's important to us. Reading inspirational literature. Hey, two birds, one stone. The mind, the reading. There you go. Meditation. Stress relief, stress management. Taking walks in nature. Connecting with that which is your core, your soul. If you do these things in these 4 dimensions, you will have more energy. More energy to give to your friends, your family, the things that you find that are important. And I think that's what's really drives so much of what it means to be human. It's creating connections with other people and having the energy to do those things that are exciting and that are fun. I was having a conversation with my neighbor today about if you're not out experiencing new things in life, then why are you here? So keep yourself renewed, keep your energy up. And that's why I love to knit. Knitting for me it exercises my mind, it reduces my stress, it engages my spirit through creativity and through creation. And hey, there's the heart side here because I get to share with you my passion. So it is one way that I am able to do an aspect of exercising in the 4 dimensions. That's not all I'm doing. I'm taking regular walks. I'm watching what I eat a little bit more. I am doing a lot more reading, studying, learning, as well as teaching, which I think is great for the mind as well. Study things, learn things as though you want to teach them to someone else. It'll be here. So thank you for joining me on the whole Passover journey. And so with that, welcome to the regular podcast. Got to bring out the finished object. So we're going to jump right into it. Finished object. Ching, there it is. This is called Another Cake Shawl. Another Cake Shawl is by, I would forget what all that is. So let me just drag that open here in the internets over here on Ravelry, where I keep an up-to-date project list. Another Cake Shawl is by Barb Padwicki. Let me just let me see if I can share that over with you. Yeah, there it is. So There's their version, and of course we have just looked at mine. It's a really fun knit. I used a Caron cake, which is what it was basically designed for. Caron cakes are a worsted weight yarn, and it is I think it's 80% acrylic, 20% wool. It is a fun little knit. I had this cake that I had used for playing around with something, so it was already kind of open started, and so I, felt like I needed to go ahead and finish it up. So I did. There it was. So that's the cake shawl. That is actually the one finished object I've had over the last 2 months. So let's talk works in progress. Works in progress are Fastlane by Anthony Casalena. And that is I really do like his patterns. They're really cool looking. Fastlane looks like this. This is the pattern page on Ravelry, and let me just kind of pop open a picture of what Fastlane looks like. So it's a lot of stripes and some slip stitch sections, which I like all those types of things. And so there is the pattern version, or the original version, and there we go. So here's mine. I am not a long ways on it yet, but this is kind of where I'm at. Yeah, I have a few more of this section down here, and then I'll be going back into another slip stitch section, and then the border bind off section will be next. So it's very, very simple. But I think it looks really cool, and so I'm looking forward to continuing on with that. But I have been rather monogamous over the last 8 days working on the Cold Pale Moon shawl, which I really enjoy. And so let me just kind of bring that up. So for those of you who have been following the along with the Passover episodes will have seen my progress. It is not at the point where I was hoping, which would be done, off the needles, blocked, and ready to go. Maybe a bit too much for 8 days. But this is what Cold Pale Moon looks like. It's basically a stockinette triangular shawl knit on the bias with a mosaic section in the middle. And so let me share where I am. And so I have finished the mosaic section and am moving into the darker contrasting color at the end. And so I'm loving it. So much fun. Really enjoying this. I love a good mosaic. And I'm loving the contrast that I have with my light colored yarn and my dark colored yarn. So really cool. Coming along, but not, at least I'm in that final section. So it'll be a while. I mean, it's not going to be a long time before I have it finished, but it's going to be, it won't be tonight. So I have a little bit of more work to do on that. So that's really kind of what's on the needles. That's what I've been working on. I do have some acquisitions. The acquisitions I have in terms of yarn are I don't remember if I ever no, I think I showed that. No, I never did. So I got blown out. So I got this from Knit Crate for, it must have been March. This is Knittergy worsted, which I believe is a 100% superwash merino, I think. And this is the all natural colorway. So it's got a sort of a gray, a couple of gray colors and a couple of sort of beigeish colors. So it's really pretty. I like it. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it, but it's pretty. And then I am also a subscribed to Trilogy Yarns Broadway Musical Yarn Club. And for March, of course, it's always kind of a crap show around here. For March, the musical was Wicked. Great show. Lovely show. Love Kristen Chenoweth and love Idina Menzel. And here is the colorway. Love the greens and the grays and the pops of sort of that reddish peach. And again with the white. And this again is on Trilogy Yarns Plush Base, which is a merino cashmere nylon yarn, which is 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. And it came with a Trilogy Yarn tape measure, which I always love. Oh, and a little bit of wool wash. It's always fun to have a little bit of wool wash. So that was March. And about a week ago? Yeah, probably about a week ago, if not more, I got the April, lots of crinkles, sorry, I got the April colorway for the month, which is Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. One of my absolute favorite movies, by the way. Love this movie. Because who doesn't like ABBA? I mean, come on. Lots of ABBA music in that movie, and probably within the show as well. Don't know the musical, never saw the musical, but I do love the movie. And here is the colorway. I just opened this today, even though I've had it for over a week, and I've not really looked at the colorway, but it is very cool. Lots of blues, which would be natural, and the sunset colors coming into that. And of course, pops of pink to bring in the Priscilla concept. I'm going to open it up and get a better sense of all of the colors. There's those darknesses. Ah, wow. I'm like, I mean, how can you not be super impressed with Nancy's skill at creating these colorways? I mean, this is a beautiful skein of yarn. I really love this. This is so pretty. So if you are not subscribing to Nancy's one of Nancy's yarn clubs, you're missing out on some just real joy. And I just can't get this thing reskeined. Hang on. There we go. Again, this is the plush base, the merino cashmere nylon, so it is super soft. So that's Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. And the fun extra that came with the skein was naturally some wool wash and needles. I am a sucker for a good set of darning needles, and that is a good set of darning needles because I have this set. So thank you, Nancy. Never met her. Would love to meet her. She seems like a lovely person. I watch her podcast, which is Needles at the Red, or not that. Wrong group. On the Needles is hers, not Needles at the Ready. That's a couple of gentlemen over in Connecticut, who I love, of course. Who doesn't love Kevin and Ray? But Nancy is on the Needles with Kathleen Chubley. Great show. If you haven't seen it, I'll link to it below so you can go catch it. In fact, I will also link to her Broadway musical yarn club if you want to join in with that fun. Speaking of dyeing yarn, things have been kind of slow over at Mount Carmel Yarns. So I'm going to put on my I need to sell some yarn hat. I have what I think are some really beautiful speckled yarns that need homes. So I'm going to give you the rundown of what I have. And here's the deal. It's been so long since I dyed these up and put them in the shop, and that anybody seemed to be going after them, that I can't even remember the names of them. That'll tell you how long it's been. So this first one is called Spring Flowers. It is speckled in pinks and oranges and yellows and actually some gray speckles up in there. I really love this colorway. It's really quite nice. It's basically a wash of some, I mean, the colors are like everywhere, and the fun speckles, you know, I like it, and I hope you guys like it too, so much so that you would go pick some up. And in fact, I'm going to throw a coupon code out there for anybody who's watching. Within for the next 2 weeks before I go on vacation, I will put out a 15% code. I don't know what the code is because I just came up with this idea as we're sitting here. I'm going to put a code out there. I'll put the code in the show notes, so you'll have to go read for the code. And maybe I'll even pop it up down here somewhere so you can see the code as well. But I'm going to put a code for 15% off everything in the shop so that you can go buy some stuff. This is on this is only on my 75-25 fingering weight base. It is a sock based yarn, but it's a superwash merino nylon 75-25. So there's that colorway. I have Fresh Spring, which is sort of yellows and blues and all that business. Hang on. Got to get rid of that. There we go. So yellows, blues, which of course make green. So you see a lot of greens up in there. And again, I really, really like this colorway. I think it's super pretty. Although, you know, I like, it's greener than I was going for, but I love that green hue to it. It just feels very spring-like to me. So there's lots of blue and yellows and sort of brown colors. So it just evokes spring to me. It seems very fresh and energetic. So there's that colorway. Again, on the 75-25 fingering. And then I also have, oh, have I not put this up? I'm double checking my inventory. I haven't put this out there, so that's why no one's bought it. That slows down processes. So I will also be throwing out there. This one I'm going to be calling Tulip Festival, because that was my inspiration for this. This is tulips. And so it's lots of different colored speckles of green, which, you know, you can see you can definitely see the green speckles in here, but also of reds and purple. And man, you know, it's making it harder to see. There we go. Reds, yellows, purples, oranges, just, you know, various colors that you see when you're looking at a great big garden of tulips. And so again, I have this on my 75-25 fingering weight yarn. And as we go into warmer months, these lightweight yarns I think will be quite lovely. So really, I love these. I think these look amazing. And if I hadn't already dyed them, I'd be wanting to buy them. So run out, grab some of these, grab some of the other stuff that is out there in the shop, and I'll get those out to you lickety-split as fast as I can. So that's the shop update, and that's my plea to you. Go buy some yarn. I'm even going to make it a little easier for you by giving you a 15% off coupon good through until like the 6th of May is how long I will have those available, because I'm going on vacation on the 7th of May. Alrighty, so there's all that business. What else going on? Let's see. Been binge watching Picard on Paramount Plus. Loving that show. We watched, my husband and I watched the first season and were obsessed with it. And so we are keeping up with the second season, which is going to be coming close to its end. But you know me, I love a good sci-fi drama, and Picard is being very good at providing a good sci-fi drama for me. With characters that I know and love and like, and also with some new characters, which I'm really enjoying as well. What else? Golly gee, not a whole lot. That has been my life. Been celebrating holidays. Been really trying hard to get a bit more exercise and eat a little bit more smart, in a bit more smart fashion. Work has been super, super busy. I have been in class all day, every week for the last month and a half. But here's the deal. I'm getting to teach stuff to people that I really enjoy working with. I've been able to blah. I'm not sure I can talk anymore. I have been teaching leadership skills to new sales managers that we've hired on, and sales managers that we have promoted up from being sales agents in my organization. And so we've gone through 3 groups, and my leadership training is a 2-week program that takes them through key leadership skills at mindset, skill set, tool set, as well as some practical application of those things within the classroom as well. So I've been super busy in that. And then so the next 4 weeks, even though one of those weeks I'm going to be on vacation, the next 4 weeks I have a group of sales agents that I'm going to be teaching our sales process to. So it's super busy time of year. It's not going to let up throughout the summer. It's not going to slow down until about October. But, you know, that's why I get some, that's why I get the big bucks, I guess. It's what pays the bills, and actually I do enjoy it. And I get to work with some really wonderfully smart, dedicated people. And, you know, that's what it's all about, is being able to do something you love to do with people you enjoy doing it with. And so I wish everybody that type of life, that you get to do something you love with people you enjoy doing it with. And if you get paid for it, that's great. If not, hey, you still get to do something you love. That, and hey, it allows me to afford my yarn collecting habit, as well as my yarn dyeing habit. And it does leave me some time to do knitting. So it's all great. I'm in a really good place right now, and I like that. I know that life changes, and that at any point it can go to hell. And you know what? I don't care. I'm enjoying where I'm at right now. So thank you guys for taking the time out of your day. And if you've been following the whole Passover saga out of your last week, to join me. And I really hope that out of all of this craziness that I spout whenever I'm here, that you get a little bit of something out of it. I gotta tell you, I think I was off for a long time, about 2 months that I didn't do a podcast. And I think what it is, I think one of the reasons was, number one, finding the time. But number two, not making the time was one of the big issues. And it's because I got to feeling like the content and stuff I was putting out was stale, and I didn't have a lot of energy around it. I wasn't finishing anything, and I didn't think anybody really cared to see my less than stellar progress on yet another shawl. So what you might be seeing more from me includes more shawls and more yarn collecting and all of the stuff that I've done before. But I think I'm going to share more about those things that I'm passionate about in addition to knitting. And that's stuff around leadership, personal effectiveness, those esoteric things that, you know, build a person up and make them feel good about life and doing things. And so I'm going to share more about that here and there from time to time. Maybe all the time. I don't know. Thanks for joining me on the journey, though. And until next time, may you have peace in your home and the fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Bye.